So if you miss any of it or if you want to share it, it'll be posted on our webpage after the meeting.
Sorry about it, everyone. Yeah, my name is Pete Marthaler with MnDOT District 1 Major Projects. I am the construction manager for the TPI project. And thanks for joining us for our monthly public update. We're about a week behind schedule from our normal schedule of monthly meetings, but we did that to hopefully work a little better with holiday schedules and have some, hopefully result in some better attendance going forward. So I think our next one is December 7th, the first Monday of December. So I said, thanks for joining us, and especially for those who are new, we'll kind of talk real briefly about why we're here. Joining me today is Stephen Kaldenbach from the Ames Kramer Joint Venture. It's kind of our contractor partner for the project. So just to rehash, recover some things that for those who are new, project goals for this project: enhance safety. We all know those blind merges out there and left exits. We're moving those to the right and relocating those merges. Obviously, we have aging infrastructure, and will be one of the three major benefits for this project is reconstructing the weight restricted and non-redundant bridges. Reduces the maintenance, and will also eliminate some bridge structure out there, which is good for keeping things open and reducing maintenance, and also improving freight mobility. As I mentioned, that a lot of these bridges are weight restricted, and so we are going to improve freight mobility by allowing those port shipments out of the port to go over the freeway system and avoiding them from utilizing our local streets here in Duluth. Project construction will, for the first phase one that we're starting to see right now, is 27th Avenue West Bridge replacement. We'll also relocate and combine Coffee and Miller Creek. We'll have some bridge removals that will start next fall, or major bridge removals that'll start next fall. And next summer we'll have Lower Michigan Street storm bypass and some small utility work at West First Street and Piedmont Avenue. For work pack 2, as we see in the map here, a lot of the newer bridges will come online. Mainline reconstruction of I-35, putting in some ground improvements and retaining walls, and kind of working through our stage construction to maintain traffic on I-35. So probably the reason everyone's here is they're looking to understand what our fall work is, and understanding some of the work that we have out there that's underway right now as we speak. So our scheduled work for fall is 27th Avenue West Bridge replacement. We completed our crossovers on I-35 mainline. We completed them last week, which is good hurdle to get over, given that we want to be able to utilize those right away as soon as we start spring construction. We're going to work on some railroad track alignment down, I'll say, between WSSD and the heart of the TPI interchange. And we're demo some buildings that are in the way for our spring construction. We'll start with some bridge foundations in the main heart of the interchange, kind of represented by those red dots you see down here. And we'll start building our soil stockpile sites. As we have a significant amount of contaminated soil, we're managing that and identifying what we are allowed to reuse through the PCA. So we have to have some temporary stockpile locations around the vicinity. So we're going to get those kind of lined up and built so they're ready to go come spring. So touching on the crossovers again, if you've driven up down the freeway, you'll probably have likely seen the work that we've completed over the last 2 weeks. The nice part about it, at least I can speak about today, is that we have southbound traffic open to 2 lanes in both directions. And hopefully by midweek this week, we will have northbound back open to 2 lanes. We have some work going on right now at the 27th Avenue West Bridge, as well as some work going on the shoulder. If you can see my cursor over here, kind of circling the area off the, I'll say the right shoulder, northbound on I-35. That is also some temporary work that we're getting completed this fall to line us up to be in a good position come next spring. Kind of picture of our crossover on the north side of 27th Avenue West, and our crossover under construction on the south side or west side of 27th West. So now kind of transition into what we're doing at 27th West. This is a picture of our completed structure, a visualization, kind of a mock-up of what the final structure will look like when the project is wrapped up. And I guess in order to get there, we need to close the bridge. So as you can see in the sign here, we have scheduled to close the bridge starting 8 p.m. on Friday, November 13th. That will effectively kind of kick off the demolition of the bridge, which I'll let Steve talk about in a minute. So this probably is a good time as any now that I realize this. Steve, this is kind of what good way to step through the stage construction. So you want to jump in?
Sure. Can you hear me okay, Pete?
Yes, we can hear you good. Thanks.
Okay. No, thank you very much. Yeah, so I'll just talk about kind of what we're doing here in 27th. For those that may have been out here this morning, we've got the two north side ramps, the northbound on-ramp from 27th Avenue and the southbound off-ramp from 27th Avenue closed. And what we're doing there right now is we're getting some temporary earth retention or shoring systems installed in preparation for the demolition weekend on November 13th. So those ramps will be closed for the remainder of this week to allow us to do that work. There's also some temporary lighting that needs to get installed and rerouted. So there's some temporary poles that will get installed on the east side and west side of 35. And that's just to allow for some temporary lighting just north of there for temp widening work that is ongoing concurrently at the same time as that also. And then starting next Monday, we'll open the two ramps that are closed today and close the two south ramps. Again, to kind of do the similar type work. We've got some temp lighting that we've got to install, and then some temporary shoring in preparation for the bridge removal starting November 13th. And so we got two ramps closed this week and the two south side ramps closed next week. And that will lead us into the Friday, like Pete had mentioned, on November 13th. Starting at 8 p.m., we will close down Interstate 35 and the 27th Avenue Bridge. Sorry, we won't close 35, but we'll reroute traffic up and over the ramps during that weekend while we're demolishing the 27th Avenue Bridge. So basically, 35 interstate traffic will be routed up and across the ramps and then back down the other side. So movement will be maintained throughout the weekend to keep 35 open as we do the demolition throughout the weekend. So the idea would be that come Monday morning on November 16th, the bridge will be completely removed, everything will be cleaned up, and then traffic will be routed right back down to Interstate 35 at that time. Yeah, and so then while the 27th Avenue Bridge is demolished and closed for construction, all four ramps in and out of 27th Avenue remain open during bridge construction. So we'll do most of the construction either from down below on the shoulder of southbound 35 and northbound 35, and then we'll have a crane in the median, the center pier, to construct that center pier construction. So that's kind of the timeline for that for the next while. So the bridge will be remained closed for through the winter, with us building substructure to abutments in the pier, and then looking to set girders here sometime in early March. So that's kind of the short-term schedule for 27th Avenue.
Yeah, so to put some pictures to words that what Steve was just talking about, this is the overhead view of what the configuration that we have out there right now looks like, and why we're closing. Kind of the orange area is the work zone that's underway right now. and the barrels, the orange dots, kind of delineating the traffic channelization that's going on. So this is what we'll see for this week, and then on Monday we'll flip flop them so they will look like this. And in the meantime, we don't have signed detours out there, but we're asking kind of people who know, kind of where they need to get to, if you want to access southbound off ramp detour, given you can't take the ramp off, going southbound to circle down to 40th and come back north, utilize the northbound off ramp there. Likewise, if given that we can't take the northbound, go northbound on 35 off of 27th, they cross the bridge, go south on 35 and cross at 40th and come back north to resume their trip. So looking ahead to next week, when we have this traffic control configuration set up where we can't, like I'll say the south ramps are closed, our detours that we'll have out there, we'll ask traffic to get off at the 40th Avenue West ramp to get to Lincoln Park area. And if you're looking to go south on 35 from 27th West, I'll use the same detour just in reverse. So this is what it'll look like when we'll close the freeway underneath 27th Avenue West and maintain traffic both north and southbound by utilizing the ramp bypass. We'll have detours out, or state troopers will be on site for probably the higher traffic time periods. We're going to minimize the conflicts at 27th West on the Lincoln Park side by closing the road essentially at the ramp to not allow traffic to enter the southbound flow at 27th West there. So I've already notified those businesses all through there between Michigan and the ramp. They were all very receptive, thankfully, and understanding weekend closure definitely helps them at least minimize their impacts to them during the weekdays. So some detours that we're going to have while the bridge is out. If you're looking across the bridge and get to the other side, say over to WSSD, just go south on 35 and circle back at 40th and come back. Additionally, if you're northbound and need to get to Lincoln Park, use the ramp at 40th West via Grand and Carlton in Michigan. For those looking to go south from the WSSD side, we'll be able to go north at 35, cross at 5th Avenue West, and come back going south. And it kind of segues into our other work that we have going on that people will see that don't necessarily have traffic impacts, but nonetheless something worthwhile making progress out there. We're widening, like as I mentioned earlier, we're widening, putting out some temporary pavement. If you can see my cursor there, and I'm not sure, but widening here just north of the northbound on ramp to accommodate 1 lane each way come next spring, as well as this is the crossing where we're gonna have our combined Miller and Coffee Creek. So we'll have a lot of sheet pile staging going on there in order to allow us to build that combined Miller Coffee Creek right through that area and still maintain a traffic in 1 lane each way. And then obviously here we see, if you've driven around, we'll see the crane boom sticking up in the air up above the overpasses there, and that crane is kind of just sitting there for now, waiting to get going on some of the substructure units that are for the new bridges and new structures down in that vicinity. Other work that will be underway that people will see upcoming in the next couple of days, we'll start grading for the railroad work, and the railroad work is necessitated. We have these, I'll say, temporary tracks we're going to build in order to effectively build the new crossing for the Miller Coffee Creek, and just kind of, for perspective purposes, Miller Coffee Creek probably passes through right where Cole took this picture here. So we have not only the interstate embankment, but we also have to navigate, maintaining train traffic, and then that obviously accesses the port facilities. So what we have here is kind of a good overview map of what traffic we're going to have spring through the fall of 21. We'll have Michigan will be closed because we'll be relocating some storm sewer here. We'll start work on, I'll say, the northbound 535 to northbound 35 structure. We'll start at both the inlet end of the combined Miller Coffee Creek as well as the outlet end, which isn't visible in this picture. 27th Avenue West Bridge will reopen to full traffic in late May, and we'll have maintain ramp access even though we'll have traffic, I'll say southbound traffic traveling on the northbound side. And this is also a good visualization here where that crossover west of 27th Avenue West will be utilized to get back on, I'll say the southbound / westbound alignment of I-35. So I guess when I keep talking to, people that I come across in my daily life and, mention them what I do, I mentioned that southbound 35 will be detoured down to Lower Michigan, and definitely raises some eyebrows. So, we included this graphic here, just kind of trying to paint the picture of what people should expect or what they'll see before it actually happens and goes before we put it into place. So we'll have two 11-foot lanes plus 3-foot shoulders going each way, or on each side, I should say, to channelize that traffic from southbound I-35 down onto Lower Michigan. And concrete barriers on either side to ensure that no pedestrians or no other vehicles get in, kind of come down into that space. This is a general alignment plan of what we'll put forth. This is kind of a bird's eye view of the temporary alignment that it'll have. We'll at this point, by the time this goes into motion, these overhead structures, I think they'll be the I-35 northbound to 53 northbound. That'll be down, as well as the southbound 53 to southbound 35. That bridge will also be taken down. That will facilitate this alignment to come through here. And this configuration will stay in place through the winter of 21/22, and come fall of 2022, we will enter stage 4/stage 5 of construction, and we'll flip-flop traffic. So come fall of 2022, traffic will be able to drive on the newly completed sections of the TPI project, while we then tear into the second half, I should say. Overall staging summary: we'll maintain 2 lanes of traffic after next summer to keep traffic flowing. Lower Michigan Street bypass will reduce traffic, trying to get through Lincoln Park, and obviously year-round construction will help ensure we get this done as quickly as we can. Other work that's been happening, lift station work is largely complete. We're going to open Michigan Street, targeted, I'll say, later this week. And if you're looking for more information, we have used some YouTube videos out there on the lower Michigan utility work. From a project messaging standpoint, we still have our billboards in place in Superior, down by Hinckley, and obviously in downtown Duluth, right outside our project office. We still have going radio ads. We have our project hotline going on, where as of right now, I've fielded only a couple calls on that. So that's useful and working. We have, in terms of posted videos, because we're unable to host in-person meetings, we're recording these type of meetings, as well as holding or putting together some videos of interest. We'll have a new one coming out here probably in the next couple of weeks, which gives some good background on the combined Miller Coffee Creek realignment and culvert to outfall to the bay, and then virtual meetings like we're having right now. So we're just trying to do what we can, get the message out there so we don't catch people by surprise, but we still seem to, and that I guess that really doesn't come as a surprise to us, but you know, we're doing our best to get the message out there. So this is an example of our project billboard. We chose to leave 2020 on the billboard because obviously we started a couple weeks ago. So plan ahead, drive safe. And one of our big tools that is easier for us to update and is a good tool for us to kind of get current information out there is our project website. Just Google Twin Ports Interchange. It's the first thing that comes up. You know, that being said, at the same time, our field staff is working. I'm one of them. I'm down here with several other gentlemen, other people in our office working, keeping this project going. And we also have our major projects team that a lot of them are working remotely from home. So I got through that really quickly, but I guess, is there any questions or comments? I'll just mute my microphone for the time being.
Pete, this is Pat. One thing maybe I'll just add is we will be installing 2 web cameras. I know the one is in town but not installed yet. It will initially be mounted on a billboard pointing towards 27th Avenue West as we go through that bridge construction. Then we'll spin it around after that and point it back at the main interchange. And then the other one, I believe, will be mounted near the Garfield overpass and point back towards the interchange. So once we get them pointed at the interchange, we'd like to keep them in the same spot, so we have a record, kind of a time lapse of the entire project. I would expect in the next month or so, we'll have at least the one in.
We got a question in the chat from Paul Erickson. Paul is asking, what are the plans for the pollution mitigation of contaminated soils? So I will do my very best to try to be succinct in that, but we have undergone a program with our Office of Environmental Stewardship and you know, in direct consultation with the PCA, done several hundred soil borings out through the project area to help identify the locations and classify the nature of contamination that's out there. Without getting exactly what it is, we've received concurrence back from the PCA, telling us, you know, concurring with our plans, whether we want to, you know, reuse it or dispose of it immediately, or in what landfill it can go to, depending on the nature of the contamination. So we are, at this point, you know, the soils that are mostly contaminated or heavily contaminated, those are going, if we can, going directly to the landfill. For those that have low levels of contamination and can be reused, we are restricting their use to under pavement areas between retaining walls to ensure that, you know, the general public and even, you know, say a good portion of any maintenance work wouldn't come in contact with that. So that was the kind of the best approach that we came up with in order to maximize or at least minimize the budget associated with that, and it's kind of where it's at today. Hopefully that answers your question, Paul. Any other questions? Either, you know, feel free to just unmute yourself or type in the chat.
I don't see or hear any others, Pete.
Yeah, I don't either. Okay. So I guess with that, we can wrap up the project update meeting for the week or for the month. Just ask that everyone keep checking back to our project page, as that way kind of the most reliable way, quickest way for us to get that stuff, get traffic changes out to you, other than waiting for press releases through the paper or whatnot. And then we'll talk to everyone and see everyone in a month. Thanks for coming.